Okay, we're back with another video. What's going on? Welcome to another video. I apologize that I haven't really been streaming or putting out content. I got sick like 2 different times in a row, and I just really have not had the motivation to create anything. But the exciting thing is, as of today, when I'm recording this, tomorrow we have the 4-star tournament, which should be a lot of fun. So if you happen to catch it, I appreciate you being there. And yeah, let's just jump into today. What I wanted to talk about in today's video, again, I'm coming from the perspective of someone who doesn't know the game at the top level. Instead, I'm coming at it from the perspective of someone who fights in F2, F3, and is trying to push his way into C1. The problem is that there is a very annoying meta that seems to take place, especially at low ranks. That meta is passive play. Have you ever faced a monster in Summoner's War and you think, this isn't fun because its passive is ruining the game? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I think this game has a problem, and it has to do with passives. Some passives in this game are the most broken thing about the character, and I get that some passives are important and make a character or a monster even usable, but still, there are passives in this game that quite literally change the dynamic of Arena, and with recent buffs to things like the Fire Monkey, the Wind Monkey, passives just aren't fun to play against. And unless you're walking into an arena with something like Dark Gojo, which can apply the Oblivion buff to everyone, it's really not even worth going up against. The best meta to counter passives is to just leave the game. So if you're like me and you're trying to learn the game, or somehow you don't know what passives are in Summoner's War, they're skills that don't need to be activated per se. They just happen. An example is Theomar's always survives a fatal hit, or Ragdoll boost attack bar every time he's crit on. Things like that are passives. They're powerful because they change the way that battles are fought, and they give certain monsters unique value, but they single-handedly change the dynamic of Arena, where if you jump into an arena match, especially at low level, and somebody picks 5 monsters with 5 different broken passives, there is no winning. So I want to talk about some of the most broken passives in this game, and just talk about maybe some of the fixes, or maybe some of the things they can do to nerf passives, because like I said, in this meta, pick 5 passives in a support and you're good. The first passives that are kind of the most annoying to deal with have to do with monsters being unkillable, meaning you can't snipe them out. Take Theomar's, for example, the Water Airfrit. No matter what you do, unless you hit him with some sort of Oblivion and snipe at the same time, he's a unit that can't die. And usually he's stacked up that way so that when he doesn't die, he just comes back with an insane amount of damage to end the snipe unit that tried to take him out. Then you have units like Leica, who can't receive more than 24% of his maximum health. And guess what? Every time he gets attacked, he gets to get some of that health back, because 99% of Leicas are built on Vampire. These are passives that make monsters unkillable, so unless you have a way to focus them down in an insane amount of damage, which, let's be honest, I'm not touching those types of runes, and neither are you if you're around my rank, so therefore those units are impossible to deal with, or at least it feels that way. You either have to ban them out, but again, I'm going to keep saying this, the meta in lower ranks is to just pick 5 passives and hope for the best. Then there are the passives that manipulate turns, right? Things like Amdwat, things like Giyu, things like Ragdoll. Those are units that manipulate turn order, because every time someone crits, they get to boost their attack bar. And I get that Ragdoll is a rare LD that a lot of people don't have, but units like that, you know, when you're trying to build for crits and do damage in RTA, he's a unit that completely offsets that. Then you have other units like Amdwat who just gain attack bar regardless of what happens. I understand Giyu's passive, right? You need to do a skill in order for her to get the attack bar, but Amdwat just gets it. Now, I have Amdwat, and I love him, but for other people, when you're trying to build a team with specific turn order, what does it matter when the other unit's just going to go no matter what? I was trying to go through and create a list of all of the units that I think are or have the most broken passives in the game, and I just found myself creating a list of way too many monsters. For example, Josephine, creating a shield proportionate to 20% of your HP on all allies who are under status effects. So what is the point in bringing a CC team against Josephine? You better have Cigar, and you better hope that reset lands, because otherwise she's just going to proc save her team, and then that's GG. Then you have things like the Fire Monkey, the Wind Monkey. They just decrease incoming damage, and they counterattack, and the damage that they do is ridiculous. You build a monkey on Seal, now you have a free Seal hits every time somebody gets attack. You have Raccoony, who removes 2 harmful effects of an ally with the lowest HP and heals 10%. So not only is he removing, right, he's also healing. My least favorite unit, or one of my least favorite units in the game, Douglas, attacking every time he gets attacked, and I would say 95% of the time he procs his second attack. If he's built on Vampire with a ton of damage, he can clean up your whole team without actually ever moving. Some of the more, like, I understand passives like Vertiheal, the attack bar boost. I get why she's important, and that kind of adds to her value. She's not doing as much damage as her light counterpart Julian, but she is doing a ton of damage for the trade-off, which is a 20% increase in her bar or something like that. Sorry, everybody's bar. Then you have other annoying ones like Manon, who just offsets damage and counterattacks. Like, what are you supposed to do? And it's a monster that's built on defense, so you can't even really snipe out with a Sonya. Some of the smaller passives I think are very frustrating to deal with are things like Masha, who just gets immunity every time she attacks. Zenitsu now is all of the Zenitsu family. You can't put them under inability effects, and the wind just offsets all the damage that he's supposed to die by. Kinky, right, that's an annoying passive, but it usually can be dealt with if you just CC him. But the fact that he can CC you back if he's built on Despair, or maybe he can just do it on his own, I kind of forget. All that is to say is I think there are units that just break the game with their passives. And maybe I'm preaching to the choir, or maybe people in the comments will just say, hey, shut up and deal with it. But when you're trying to grind up to a certain level, and I'm just trying to hit C1, I'm not even trying to get to G1 or G2 or even Punisher. I'm just trying to get to C1, and I'm literally fighting teams that are 4 passives and a support. Maybe I am bad at the game. It's something that I'm trying to understand. Maybe there's a way to deal with it that's a little better. So if you have suggestions, please let me know. But I'm just saying that too many units in this game have passives that completely destroy Arena. Things like Hegang, they make sense. Hegang needs something to happen in order for him to improve his attack bar, boost attack bar. But Amdwat just getting attack bar, or Gapsu just healing or getting attack bar every time someone heals is a little ridiculous. Or Feng Yang, or even Leica offsetting damage or increasing attack bar. I know I'm mixing up passives here, but all that is to say, there are passives in this game that just change Arena, and it's not fun. So what's the answer? Well, that's kind of where I come to you with the audience, right? Like, if you have a way that counters broken passives, let me know, because this whole journey is about me learning, and maybe I'm just, maybe I'm just barking up the wrong tree and I just don't know what I'm talking about. I feel like in my research, and certainly in my experience playing RTA, passives have been one of those things where I just can't get through. Things to fix it, obviously, like nerf and balancing, but the community seems to think that there really hasn't been a good balance patch for the last couple of them. You could add more accessible monsters like other Nat 5s who have counter passives, if that makes sense. And honestly, I think if you're going to do RTA, they should just include ban. Right off the rip, you should be able to ban a unit right off the bat and just pick a unit that counters your meta. That way, that's one less unit you have to worry about and one less passive you have to deal with. So that's my little rant. I hope it made sense. If you agree with me, great. If not, let me know how I can fix it. Other than that, I appreciate you being here. We got the Discord, we got the guilds, we got the tournament coming up.